Good morning and welcome to a video about baby items. I wouldn't call myself a minimalist exactly, but I do like to keep things minimal. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's something I need to work on in myself, but things stress me out. When a new item enters the home, I want to make sure it has a purpose. And truthfully, we don't have a junk drawer right now. We have a junk room. We have a whole room in our 2-bedroom house that I don't know what's going on, and I'm not happy with it. But when it comes to our baby items, we purposely kept things very, very minimal. We live in a less than 800 square feet house. We have to keep things minimal. We don't like extra things. And we kind of intentionally, when we were registering and planning the items that we needed for the baby, our baby's 8 months now, we really wanted our house not to appear as if Toys R Us sort of exploded in our living room. We wanted to keep the plastic things at a minimum, and so it just doesn't look like, whoa, a kid has taken over, which is really hard to do. My house it's messy, even with all my minimal things. I should say too that just because I don't own these 15 things, it doesn't mean I think it's wrong to own these 15 things. They're very common. Most people I know own these things, so it's all good. Don't take it like I'm criticizing you for owning these things. It's pretty normal. I'm just trying to, not own so many things that I don't think I need, and we've gotten by pretty good so far. Number one is the baby monitor. I actually have nothing against baby monitors. When I'm at my parents' house, they have a baby monitor because they have a much larger house, and it's pretty nice. It's like pretty handy to just peep on him when he's napping or going to bed, to just check on my baby without the risk of waking him. But here in this small house, we just don't feel the need. I can hear him. I know some people have really strong opinions about baby monitors, like they're not good, but I don't know. I have no opinion. It's more just I don't want one. I don't want another thing in my house. One thing I adamantly do not want, definitely, is an automated swing. When my baby was a newborn, I didn't want one of those like rocking things that's automated. And the only reason is if the baby is so used to this all the time, it's gonna be a clutch, and they're just gonna need to be rocked constantly. When I was holding my newborn, I intentionally wasn't rocking all the time because I wanted him to learn to be comfortable with me standing or sitting, and it turns out he's not addicted to the rocking, which is really nice. So I think it's just asking for the baby to get hooked on a certain sleep crutch if you're putting the baby in an automated swing, personally. But I get how they can be really helpful. I really do. We do not own a playpen or a pack and play, but again, a useful thing is more just so many pack and plays exist in the world, and they are made of plastic, and I'd rather not contribute to the demand of more plastic. Actually, a few weekends ago, we went up to Bakersfield to visit Eric's grandparents so my baby could meet his great-grandparents, and we needed a pack and play because there was no crib situation at their house. So we just borrowed one from our friends who live down the street, and they were happy to lend it for a few days, and it all worked out, and we didn't have to contribute to more plastic. And we're probably gonna end up borrowing one for our camping trip in Mammoth in August, because I don't know what we're gonna do at the campsite with a crawling baby crawling in the dirt. Please let me know recommendations. I think pack and play is probably the best option. Another wonderful thing I'd like to point out while we're on the topic of just waste, which is a motivator for me to keep my items minimal, is that you can get so many baby things on OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace or any of the Craigslist type of things. People use their baby items for 6 months or so, and then the baby outgrows it, and they're like, well, I'm not having any more kids, so I'm gonna get rid of this. I'd rather not put it in the landfill. Let's find someone who can use it. You can use it. It's amazing what we can do to reduce our purchases. I really encourage you to do that. If you really need a pack and play or something like that, you could find one on OfferUp that someone's no longer using rather than buying a new one. I don't own a baby bathtub. I just get in the bath with my baby and we just keep it super safe, and I think it's a wonderful time to bond and stay calm. He loves the water. It's another big thing. If I imagined owning a baby bathtub in my house, my first question is, where do I put it? There's not even a place in this house to put a vacuum, which is really nice to help you, kind of force you to be super mindful about what you own. I don't own a bottle sanitizer. We are exclusively breastfeeding, but there have been times, you know, in babyhood that we have used bottles. I've never owned a bottle sanitizer. I feel like there's just like there's a lot of devices, a lot of little things you could buy to sanitize every little thing. We are clean, don't you worry. We are sanitary. But I've never owned a bottle sanitizer. This one's sort of a broad umbrella one, but we don't own an excessive amount of toys. He does have toys. He's got some nice developmental learning toys that are really high quality and beautiful. These are items that I have been gifted, full disclosure, but I love them. They're beautiful and they're like healthified, and my baby loves them too. But I also like to encourage the baby to play with things that aren't toys, because he doesn't know the difference between his rattle and, you know, the kitchen towel, and he knows how to play with something and make something full of wonder, and it's literally just a ladle from the kitchen. He loves ladles. He likes straps, especially if you want to get him a present, get him a strap, get him a bunch of straps. He learns so much just from playing with everyday items. So I just don't see the need for a bunch of like light up toys, because those kinds of noises and lights are so unnecessary to capture a child's imagination, and they just don't need beepy, lighty, annoying sounds to teach them anything or make them entertained. We do not own a stroller car seat attachment. I get the convenience, but at the same time, I can't even imagine, even when baby was like 2-3 weeks old, just leaving him in the car seat and going pop into the stroller. I haven't used the stroller until recently. I was always just wearing the baby, but now he's getting heavy and he actually really likes the stroller. But I think it's good to, when they get out of the car seat, let them wiggle around and like stretch and not just be in this curved cashew position like the whole time for hours. We don't own a bottle warmer. If we need to warm up some of my breast milk, we just warm it according to the directions, you know, under the warm water in the plastic bag or something, and then put it into the bottle and it's fine. Maybe it's because we don't do a lot of bottles, like it's pretty rare for us to do bottles. Maybe someone can explain. I don't really know the point of a bottle warmer. Like, I can't imagine having so many devices in my kitchen when I have 2 working breasts on my body. That is wonderful. And let me say a note about breastfeeding. Breastfeeding in the beginning was so hard. For 4 to 5 months, it was a source of stress. Like, even just talking about it is giving me like, my heart is beating. Like, there's like PTSD from that, legitimately, and I know a lot of you can relate. Sally Mustang on Instagram, you guys should totally follow her, she's awesome. She did some posts about her breastfeeding journey, and my heart just like, I messaged her like, I feel you, and it was hard, okay? And I say that because a lot of people struggle with breastfeeding, and just know it's like so normal. Like, it's so normal for your first time as being a mom to really struggle with breastfeeding. And then I got to 6 months and it was like, whew, it was like, ah. Now breastfeeding is so wonderful, magical, seamless, easy, and it took so long to get there. I just didn't understand. Like, I had this cerebral knowledge that breastfeeding is hard, but I did not get it until I went through it. So you're exclusively breastfeeding with some solid foods, kind of baby-led weaning, but it's a lot harder than I imagined. And my point being is that we don't need a lot of devices, because breastfeeding is now just so wonderful and seamless, and I love it so much. And I'm really grateful for the relationship that I have with my baby, that breastfeeding relationship. What's so cool about breast milk is, like, yes, it is really hard in the beginning to learn how to breastfeed, but like, my milk is always at the right temperature. I never have to sanitize anything. I just pop it in his mouth and it's always ready to go no matter where we are. It's so convenient and I love it. Thing number 9 I do not own is a baby gym. Another sort of like excessive plastic, super colorful toy that baby may be interested in for a little, but then will probably lose interest, and the world is his gym. We've never owned baby food. I don't own like little jars. I don't make my purees or anything. And again, I'm not doing this to make a statement or anything. I just like, it makes a lot of sense. Why would I need to like make food? What did people do back, you know, millennia ago. People have been having babies since the beginning of time. Like, we didn't have blenders and we didn't have Walmart to go buy our baby food, so we're doing baby-led weaning. It's really fun. In the beginning, my baby was so not interested. He would just look at the food like in disgust, like, what is this? Avocado. And now he is really enjoying it. It's just, you know, once a day or so we'll be playing, learning, and he gets a few pieces in, and I'm just kind of like, no pressure to eat food. I'm learning about baby-led weaning. I'm learning about the whole process starting on solid foods. I am not an expert, but I'm always looking and researching and asking questions and looking to other experts for help. And I'll link a really good YouTube channel that I found. She's a LC and an OT, and has some great information. Another baby item that I don't own, and I never really knew the point of, is one of those Bumbo like baby seats where they sit them in when they're not able to sit up yet. I don't know what they're for personally, and we don't own one. We just let baby practice sitting up on his own with our supervision, and then one day he just did it. We don't own a changing table. It's changing table is like a piece of furniture extra just for changing your baby. We just do it on the bed. I just have a little changing mat that actually I used, my midwife provided us during birth. Our midwife provided all the things that we needed to have a safe and cleanly home birth, where we don't have like blood everywhere in the house. And one of them was this mat, and it's just like a plaid thing. I'm pretty sure it's like a dog mat or something. I think it's meant for pets, and it works perfectly as a changing pad. I will say, every once in a while I'm at my friend's house and I'm like, oh, they have a changing table. I'm gonna change his diaper on the changing table. I'm like, whoa, this is great. Like, my back doesn't hurt at all. I'm just changing him at the perfect height. So I understand if you have the room to have a changing table, it is nice, because sometimes my back does hurt just like bending over changing his diaper, but we figure it out, we manage. I don't own a nursing cover, like a breastfeeding sort of cover material thing for when I'm nursing in public. I was sort of thinking, if you're interested, we could do a video about how I nurse in public modestly. I'm not one of those moms that's like, whip it out, here's my boob, check it out, feeding my baby. I'm like sort of like discreet about it, depending on who I'm around. If I'm around girlfriends, like I feel like I don't really care. But you know, if I'm in like a group of a lot of people, I feel like I'm pretty discreet about it. And if it bothers them, I don't know, I feel like it's a conversation. I think it's interesting breastfeeding in public, everyone's comfort levels. But I don't feel the need for a cover, because I'm not ashamed of breastfeeding and like feeding my baby. It's wonderful, and I think it should be celebrated more in our society. And thank God things are changing now. Just 20 years ago or so, it probably wasn't nearly as accepted as it is now. So I'm really grateful for that I can nurse in public, and I haven't received a single negative comment to my face. And I also feel like the cover, even if it's like for other people's comfort, it's not my job to make other people comfortable. Just my opinion. And also, the cover really interferes with breastfeeding. Like, the baby's like, oh, get this off. Most of the time, I'm not like banishing myself to another room when I'm breastfeeding around others. But occasionally, if my baby's like not eating well and he's like super distracted, I will go to another room just for the efficiency of like getting him to eat well. But most of the time, you know, we're just around others and without a cover. It's so funny, like, I feel like nursing without a cover is sort of like a statement these days, and I'm okay with that. Oh, there's the fridge. That's okay, right? Number 14, I don't own a single pacifier besides these two ladies. I don't use pacifiers, and it's, again, this one's like not a statement. Like, I don't care, use a pacifier or whatever. I really don't have an opinion about it. I just never did, and I think that my baby might like it. Like, babies like pacifiers for a reason. They have this natural suck instinct that really does calm them down. But again, it's sort of like the automated swing thing. Like, I'm just giving him something to be sort of attached to and to use as a crutch, that's a word. I've heard of people, it takes them a long time to get off the pacifier, and then also like they find this one pacifier they really like, and oh no, they went out for a picnic and then they left it and they forgot and they lost it, and what are they gonna do? And then the baby's just like a mess. Like, I feel like my baby hasn't had to rely on that. Like, I'm there for him, and so I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to worry about losing my nipples. I don't know, like, do you guys, what are your opinions on pacifiers? Because pretty much everyone I know uses pacifiers. They're pretty normalized. I always, even before I was a mom, I always sort of looked at it like a plug. Like, you just stop crying, you like plug up your, I know that's not what it is, but it just felt like sort of like a plug. It just felt like, oh, I just probably don't need one. Maybe if I had a future baby who like was really not calm and like was fussing all the time, I might try a pacifier, but I'm not that staunch about my opinion on this. My baby though is probably like the coolest, like most perfect baby ever. He does it, even when he's fussy, I'll be like, oh, he's fussy, and my friends are like, no, Hannah, no, that's a really calm baby. Last one, I have never owned, and I do not own a bassinet or a cradle or you know, something small for a small baby to sleep in. We have a small bedroom. My baby is in there with us in the crib, and we co-sleep, and I always just use the crib as his bassinet. You know, like if we're not in the bed safely together, we very safely co-sleep. I honestly don't really need a smaller thing when he fits in the crib, you know. It just seemed like an extra item. This was something we actually really talked about, like how are we gonna do sleeping, like deciding, do we want to co-sleep, and we researched it and we come to our conclusion. Even the semi co-sleepers that like attach to the bed and it's like a bassinet, I get the idea behind that, but in practice I don't find it to be as wonderful as co-sleeping. Here's the thing to remember, that's the conclusion of my list, by the way. Here's the thing to remember. When it comes to buying anything, you know, of any category in your life, but especially baby stuff, it's an industry, like it's a business, and the people in the clouds are marketing things to parents, making it seem like they need these things in order to, you know, like, oh, they're just normalizing it. Like, we must get a bottle sanitizer. Well, do we really? Like, just feel free to ask yourself questions and to challenge the thought that, do I really need this item? I just feel like for me, by keeping things minimal with my baby items, not only am I reducing my waste and my impact on the planet, I feel like it just helps me stay calm and chill, because as I mentioned at the top of this video, extra things stress me out. And when I am stressed, I have noticed that my baby kind of looks at me and he's like, something's up with mom. But when I'm calm, he's such a happy baby and things just run more smoothly. I would love to hear in the comments, what are some like really normal baby item things that you do not own, or maybe some of the things that I mentioned that you really love and actually adds value to your life and to your parenting.